Welcome to the Everett Public Schools webinar for parents on how to use Google Classroom. Your child will use their EPS student email to enter Google Classroom. They can also enter through Clever. The student email is your child's lunch number plus at epsstudents.org. Check with your family liaison for this information. When logging in, you don't want to browse as guest. Go to the bottom of your screen, click Add Person, and enter your information. Liaisons, can you give me a thumbs up if you're ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Great. And here you're just looking at the Spanish and Haitian Creole translations. Step 1, click on the Google Chrome browser icon. If you don't have Google Chrome on your computer, search for Download Chrome and install it. If you don't have a Chromebook or other computer, please ask the family liaison at your child's school to help you. Step 2, type classroom.google.com into your web address bar. The web address bar is at the top of the screen. Make sure you type the address exactly as written here. Step 3, type in your child's Google email address and click Next. Your child's email address is their student ID or lunch number, followed by at epsstudents.org. Step 4, type in your password and click Next. If you don't know your child's password or the password you have doesn't work, check with a teacher or family liaison. This is an example of the home page for Google Classroom. Every class is a different color. If you don't see your child's class, check that you signed in using the correct email. A teacher will need to invite you to join a class. You can also ask your child's teacher for a class code. To join a class with a code, click the plus sign at the top of the screen. Select Join Class and enter the code. Now, let's take a look at how to navigate through a class. Navigating Classroom. Step 1. Click on the class you wish to view. Step 2. Page Tools. You will see the name of the class in big letters. On the left, you can find upcoming assignments. Click on the name of the assignment to see more details. Right here. At the center top of the screen, you will see 3 options: Stream, Classwork, and People. The stream shows all items in order, sorted by date. Classwork shows assignments sorted by topic. People shows the name of the teacher and other members of the class. We're looking at the class stream right now. Step 3, assignment details. This is what you see when you click on classwork. On the left, you will see a list of topics. Under the class name, you can click on View Your Work to see work that is assigned, work that is missing, and work that is completed. This is a really easy way to keep track of what your child needs to get a good grade. Also on this page is the main list of assignments. The calendar is another easy way to see upcoming assignments. From the main page of Google Classroom, click on the 3 lines at the top left. Choose Calendar to see assignments by date. This will show you assignments for all your child's classes. Remember how the classes have different colors? Those same colors will appear in the calendar. Click on a colored box to see more information about the work. A teacher might assign a worksheet in Kami. Kami is an application that connects to Google Classroom. To open a worksheet in Kami, first open the assignment in Google Classroom. I'm going to show you right here. Next, click on your child's name right here on the right side of the screen. Then click the blue button that says Open with Kami. If this is your first time using Kami, you will also need to authorize Google Drive. That gives Google permission to save your child's worksheet. If you have questions, please wait until after the presentation for the Q&A session. Your child can type answers on worksheets in Kami by clicking on the text toolbox in the menu. This menu may be on the right or left side of the screen. Your child can choose different colors for their text. We recommend using black most of the time. To type an answer, click once on the part of the worksheet you wish to edit. Then begin typing. The text box should get bigger on its own. If the text box doesn't respond in this way, click the red X and try again. Make sure you are not moving the mouse when you click to insert the text box on the page. And if you see here, there's the red X. I'm going to show you again. You click the text box, choose the color, and then click once. It should expand just like this. If you see the letters go vertically, you need to close it and try again. You can also draw in Kami. When your work is finished, click the Turn In button at the top. Clicking the blue Turn In button will also submit your child's work in Google Classroom. The teacher will get a notification that the work has been submitted. You can also turn in work in Google Classroom. When you turn in work in Google Classroom, make sure the button is orange and says Turn In or Mark as Done. There is also a turn-in button for assignments in Google Docs. In Google Docs assignments, the turn-in button is gray and next to the blue share button. Do not click the blue button unless your child's teacher instructs you to do so. Sometimes the turn-in button will say, "Mark as done." It has the same meaning. If the button is white with orange letters and says unsubmit, as you'll see here in a moment, right here, do not click it. The work has already been submitted. Only click the unsubmit button, the white button, if you want to open the work again and fix something. If you need help, you can ask the teacher for help in the private comment box. Type your comment and hit send. Sometimes a teacher will post material for students to read or watch. Your child should explore the material. There won't be anything to turn in on Google Classroom, but the assignment may still be graded. Your child should read and watch all material in Google Classroom carefully. Some of it may appear on a test. To see work your child has not done, go to the main page of Google Classroom and click To Do at the top left. It's right under the Google logo. You will see work that is assigned, missing, and done. If work isn't assigned, it is still on time. You can see the date it needs to be completed. I'll show you that in just a moment. Right here, there's the date. If work isn't missing, your child has forgotten to do it. They may still have a chance to complete the work and get points for late work. Check with your child's teacher. Work in done is finished. If there are more items in missing than in done, your child may be performing poorly in class. Guardian summaries are weekly emails sent to parents that show a list of assignments for that week. To receive these emails, you will need to give your child's teacher your personal email address and ask them to add you as a guardian to your child's Google Classroom account. Ask your child's teacher to add you as a guardian in Google Classroom. You will need to give your teacher your personal email. Check your email for messages from Google Classroom. If you don't see any messages after a week, check your spam or junk mail folder. And again, for people raising their hand with questions, we will answer questions after the presentation. It's only going to be a few more minutes. And this is just the Guardian summary information in other languages. You will be able to access this slide presentation afterwards. You cannot log into Google Classroom with your Guardian email. You will receive weekly summaries of assignments. You should continue to check your child's work with their Google Classroom student account. If you are using Gmail on a computer, you can easily translate Guardian summaries into many different languages. To translate summaries using Gmail on a computer, select your language and click Translate Message. If you are checking email on a phone, you will need to install Google Translate to read the messages in a different language. To translate email on a phone using Google Translate. Step 1, open the Google Classroom email. Step 2, I'm going to wait for the animation to cycle around so that you can see clearly. Again, we'll look at that in just a second. Step 1, open the Google Classroom email. Step 2, press and hold a word to highlight it, and then press Select All. Step 3, choose to translate. Step 4, click on the 3 dots and open in the main application. Here's the same information in Spanish and Haitian Creole. And finally, thank you for being an important part of our community. Okay. So I think it's time we can do the Q&A session. Let's have a look at that. I don't see any open questions. You can type. If you see the text box at the bottom that says Q&A, you can type in your questions there. You cannot speak during a webinar. So I did see people with their hands up, which means I'm assuming that some people have questions. So we'll wait for you to type them in to the Q&A box.
David, I think we can allow people to speak if they want to raise their hands, and then I will.
Oh, that sounds good to me. I like that. I like that kind of engagement. So let's do that.
So if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand again, and I will unmute you so you can ask your question.
I'm going to try to remember who asked. Right, M. Jones had their hand raised. That is Marvin Jones's parent. Do you have a question? You can raise your hand again.
Regina, are you able to see the Q&A because the question is in Portuguese? Hold on, let me go to Portuguese so I can hear you.
Eu não conseguir fazer. Oh, okay, someone's saying they have never, I can understand what it's saying. They don't know where turn-in is in Kami. All right. So I'm going to answer that question, and then I'll go into the next question in just a second. But hold on. So I do understand that sometimes people get frustrated with Kami because they don't know where to turn it in. Maybe they cannot see a button to turn it in. So I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. Just give me a moment to do that. Okay. All right. So I have my student account set up. I have my fake student account set up. And this is it. I'm going to share it with you. And again, I got there from the classroom, right? Kami paragraph writing. And then I'm going to click on here where it says my name. My fake student name is Test. And then I'm going to click Open with Kami. Okay. So I'm actually going to show you 2 ways to submit it with Kami. I already wrote some text in the box, but you can see up here where the turn in button is. Monitor chat for, let's see what people are saying. No? Okay, I can't see the chat from the screen. But I'm going to click turn in. right? And then this will open, and then I'm going to click turn in again. I'm going to wait for it to save to Google Drive. Now, this is why I had to authorize Google Drive, because it's saving it there. Yeah, Fazed. Okay, mine shows blue, not orange. That's okay. For the other person asking, you can, if it's a different color, that's okay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Now going back, I'm going to go back to my classes just for a second and show you what this looks like. You can see here that after I click turn in Kami, the text changes to unsubmit here. And when I go back to Google Classroom, the orange button is white and it says unsubmit. Now I can click unsubmit and that will take away the assignment. Everything I wrote will still be there. So my advice to you, if you don't see this button for some reason, or if you can't find it, complete your work in Kami, make sure it's completed, then go back into Google Classroom and click turn in. You can turn in from Google Classroom as well. Okay. So hopefully that answered that question. Let's look in the Q&A again. In my son's classes, the turn in button is always blue. Why? So if the button that looks orange on my screen in my presentation is blue, that's okay. Don't worry about it. As long as it's a color and it says turn in or mark as done, you should be fine. So are there any other questions? Does the teacher know if the student is in class or have left the class after they logged in? You're talking about Zoom or Google Classroom? Since this is a Google Classroom presentation, I'm going to assume it's Google Classroom. So the teacher can see the student, that the student has joined. Oh, Zoom. Yes, definitely. If the teacher is monitoring the box, the attendee boxes, the boxes with the students, they can see if the student is in class. One thing you should encourage your children to do in Zoom, if possible, is to have their camera or microphone on, right? We understand sometimes they feel embarrassed to have their camera on, and some teachers will require this and some teachers won't. It really depends on the school. But if you're concerned that your child is turning off their camera and leaving class or stepping away, you can check to make sure they have their camera on. But yes, if they leave the meeting, the teacher can see that if the teacher is monitoring it. Okay.
Natasha, I unmuted you, so you are able to ask your question out loud.
So I see that someone asked about the to-do button, right? And I'm just going to go through that again. I'll show you that feature one more time, and the calendar. So here we're in Google Classroom. This is the test account. This is what it looks like from a student's perspective. Again, some buttons might be blue, right? Okay, so I have no work coming, right? I'm just going to go here. Now, if you're in stream, you won't see that. So you need to go to classwork. You need to click on classwork, right? And then you should see, I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about that. Correct myself. So on the main page where you see all your classes, all of your classes, you need to be in the main page where all the class boxes are. You can go up here and click to do. And there we go. And you can sort by different classes. So you can see that my test student account is in 4 classes. and I can sort. I can see what I'm in science, what is assigned. I can see my missing assignments right here. Now, in missing, there's only one assignment, but look here. There's also an earlier tab. Oh man, my student account is not completing his assignments. Uh-oh, right? When I go and check on done, there's nothing. That means my child has not done any work. So optimally, you shouldn't see too much in missing, and you should see a lot in done. So again, to repeat, the more assignments there are under missing, the worse your child is doing in class, right? Missing assignments are assignments they have missed. So again, that is in the main page. I can also access the calendar from there, right? And there's all my classes. I can go forward. My test account is not enrolled in too many classes, so I won't see too many things here, but you can see the date that it's due, right? Just to go over one more thing, in classwork, you can view your work right here. Click that button. And over here on the left, you can see it the same, basically the same thing, assigned work. And it will show you if the work is missing. That is, if it's not turned in and if it's late. You can also see returned work, and you can see just missing work. So just again, that is in the class page under classwork. Let's see. I see someone with someone has their hand up. Nacha,
Yeah,
let me.
I just unmuted her again.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to ask your question.
Looks like she's still muted. Oh, there we go.
I do empty box over here. Oh my God.
Did you have a question?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, this is Brian, mom, in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't know what assessment you're talking about.
What assignments? Can you repeat the question?
What assessment or whatever I see in the air.
Assessments.
Yes.
Assessments. Assessments mean tests. Those are
Yes.
exams. Right. Assessments and tests are basically, depending on the teacher, I'm not, well, I'm going to hedge. I'm going to, so they mean some type of evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It might be like an end of chapter test, or an assessment could be just a check to see how the student is doing during the class, like if they've learned the material in the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get too technical, but you know, there are two types of assessment, two main types of assessment in teacher speak, formative assessments and summative assessments. And I'm not going to get into that in this presentation, but it's a check on knowledge. You can think it's a test.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I can do yours today. Okay. I understand now.
Right. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as they say in the Everett School Board meeting, we're going to close the comment period. And thank you all for coming. We care, Everett cares about you, and we care about your children.
So if you all want to, maybe if you have some friends that you think would also benefit from coming to these sessions to learn more about what we're doing, with the kids every day. We would love it to see more parents. We're so happy to see you guys. We cannot wait to meet your kids in person. We can't wait. Hopefully someday we're able to be face to face. And I just want you all to know that we care so much about your kids and we can't wait to meet them. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. And thanks to our wonderful liaisons.